All right, it's 5 a.m. We're on our way to get the bus, so we're super excited. He said there was a little bit of problems with the headlights, and the tail lights are a whole nother story. So we'll get into that stuff, but we're hoping to go super early so that we can drive during the day. But we'll see. We're on our way. It's about 45 degrees out, so it's a little bit chilly. I don't know how we'll do in the bus. I brought my sweater. Kind of the opposite of when we took off when it was really hot. But anyway, it's been a while. I think it's been almost...
like 5.5 months.
About 5.5 months or so. So it's been a long time. So we are super excited to get it back and to continue the project. So anyway, we'll film as we get down there, but we wanted to kind of capture the, the 5 o'clock in the morning taking off. So this is it. So we're on our way. Hopefully everything goes well. I think we have everything we need. So we checked and double checked last night. Michelle's a good planner. So we'll see how it goes, but we're on our way. It's about 8:45 or so we are at the border, or very close to. We're about 3 miles out. Hopefully we'll be able to see the bus here pretty soon. So we're pretty excited to see it. So we'll see. So we're gonna try to stop and talk to the Border Patrol people to see if we can come in through Naco, since we're right in Naco. Last time they wouldn't allow us through, so they actually turned us around and pulled us back through this gate. So we're gonna talk to them and see if they'll actually let us through. If not, we have another hour drive the wrong way and then an hour back. So if we can't get through here, it's gonna increase our travel time by a couple of hours. So anyway, we'll see what they say. All right, we're at the border. U.S. port of entry to Mexico. All right, we're in Mexico. So it was weird. There was kind of nobody at the border, so we just kind of drove around a couple of trucks. They waved us through and didn't check or ask any questions. So we'll see. The paint guy is right in Naco, so he's literally in this little tiny town. So we're about to go see him. We're about probably 2 minutes away or so. So anyway, it's getting close. Alright, well we're at the border and they're gonna check it out. Way less problems than getting in, so far. We'll see. So they're gonna run an x-ray on it and make sure everything's okay. He said hold tight. He's gonna check out my documents, my passport and my registration, and then they're gonna run it through. So fingers crossed. Alright, we got through the border. It was super easy. They just they x-rayed the whole car or the whole bus and just literally let us come through. So it was a day and night different experience than when we tried to get it down there. So super simple. The crossing was really narrow. It was literally, I had maybe an inch to spare. So, and it was like that at the other border too. It's really tight. So anyway, we've gotten it through and We put a little bit of oil in it just to be sure that it has enough oil, and we're about to try to make the trek home. So we'll see how that goes. All right, the drive so far has been really smooth and easy. So the bus is running great. I was afraid that if there was algae in the filters maybe that it would hesitate a little more coming back, but we are cruising at about 65. We're just outside of Tucson now. We stopped for lunch at In-N-Out and got some lunch, so we're on our way back now. We had thought, we were worried that we might be driving back in the dark because the painter said, hey, the front headlight, the wiring on the front headlights is not great. So he was a little worried about that. So I'm gonna have to look at that when I get back. But so far, it's been really smooth and it's going great. So things are working just like they should. So check back in a little bit. All right, so we made it home safe. This is the bus. We've shown it to you before, but we're really pleased with the way it came out and how it all turned out and everything. It traveled well, like it always does. We didn't really have any problems this time. Getting through the border was super smooth, as we showed you. So a few of the things that we have to address almost immediately is the headlights don't work at all because he took them out and then they couldn't figure out how to get them back in, or I don't know what happened, but it doesn't matter because we're putting in different headlights anyway. So the headlights don't work, the turn signals don't work, and the rear headlight or the rear tail lights had completely fallen apart. So he emailed me. So he was very good about keeping me up to date and sending messages and getting feedback and things. Even though it took 5 months, which we would have loved if it just took like a month or two, it's a family-owned business and he's got other projects. There was a ton of rain down there, so there was a bunch of rain delays and things like that. And so, but he was very good about keeping up to date about where the bus is and what he's working on. And there was a couple of struggles with these headlights. The front buckets were all rusted out, and so I had to go source some of those, and so we did find some of those. And then in the rear, like I said, the taillights were basically like made out of wood, and so that wood had just kind of disintegrated, and so we're gonna have to do something different back there as well. He also said that he wasn't 100% sure about the windshield wipers, so we'll have to look at that. So there's a few things that we're gonna have to look into and see, but for the most part we are very happy with it. He did fabricate a new nameplate up at the top. That used to be this almost like a plastic shower board or something, but he's made that one out of metal now, so that's actually metal and it's sealed, and he made sure it didn't leak and everything else. He also had to fabricate a piece up under the bumper that holds the spare tire in. So there was a piece under there that was all, he said it was misshapen, and he's like, there's not much I can do with that, and so he had to make a new piece for that. So he also, it was a lot more work than he thought because there was quite a few layers of paint, and he actually took the bus all the way down to the metal and then built it back up, reprimed everything, sealed all the seams with this seam sealer stuff. And he was contacting me along the way as he's taking it apart. He's like, I'm gonna have to take more paint off than I thought, you know, is that okay? And he's gonna have to buy the different primers because on bare aluminum, there's a certain way you have to prep it so that the paint adheres well. And so he knows all that stuff, obviously, and so he bought the right primers and sanded it down and did things kind of the way you're supposed to. And a lot of times he couldn't paint because the humidity's too high, or it was raining, or so he didn't paint when it wasn't the right time. So we're hoping all that adds up to paint that will last quite a long time. So that's our hope. So anyway, we wanted to go with a very kind of bus-like paint scheme. We didn't want to have flashy kind of swoops and swirls and all that on it. We didn't want it to look like an RV. We want it to look like a vintage bus. And so that's why we went with a very simple scheme. And also on the top, I don't know if you can see it, but there's a scallop. And so our bus was a Trailsways bus. And so they had this kind of a scallop very similar to that on their buses. And so we wanted to kind of mimic that sort of look. And so he took all the parts that, like here was heavily corroded, and you can see that he's built it up, so there's no rivets there, and that's why that looks that way, because he had to build this up so that it would be even again and it would look smooth again. So anyway, we are very happy with the way it turned out. There's no way we could have done this because we don't have the right space and the right tools or skills or anything. So we were pretty happy that we were able to get it to someone who did it for us and at a pretty reasonable cost. So so the bus is back now, and we've got a ton of projects. So first on the list are going to be those ones that I've mentioned. They're the ones to get it actually safe and drivable, which is headlights, turn signals, brake lights, all those kind of driving things will come first. And then we'll go into replacing the front windshield, which we've already done. We've already purchased, the windshield, and we've got new rubbers. So Luke had the new rubber piece that goes all the way around, and he just had those remanufactured. So we got a new one of those, and so we're gonna try to do it ourselves. So Luke said go ahead and call him and he'll kind of walk us through it. He also gave us some tools that are meant for putting it in. So we're gonna try it. So we're gonna try to replace this windshield. So GM letters, we've got some coming from a guy that we know that should go on there and should fit well. So we're probably also gonna do LED headlights. These are broken anyway, and we accidentally dropped one when we were looking at it. So we're gonna have to get new ones anyways. So we are gonna go with LED headlights, and we may do an LED light bar across the front. So that's actually a surprise for Michelle since I haven't told her, but and this bumper, after sitting for 5 months in the rain and not being taken care of, it's not as shiny as it was, but fortunately this is really simple. That's going to be like a 5-minute job with some others. So we've already done the hard part of cutting it and doing it with the big buffer. So hopefully that will just kind of buff out with some others. So we'll see. We'll report back on how that works. But anyway, we are super excited to have it back, and we've got a list of projects that we're going to be working on, and we just wanted to give you a closer look and show you the bus. So here she is.